Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this video is about Lilith transiting opposition Pluto in the heavens, offering you and each of us dramatic growth into your true power. This transit developing from October 2022. But before I actually go into the detail of this actually very important transit, I want to tell you all that I've had long COVID since the end of June. And so unfortunately I've not been well enough to do my usual blogs and videos. I've felt ill ever since and kept having crashes. So I've only been able to work at about, at best, 25% usual capacity. However, I plan to resume normal work on November the 1st. And thank you so very much to all of you who contacted me with your kind best wishes at this time. So in this video with its accompanying blog post, I want to tell you about a powerful, exact opposition between Pluto and Lilith gathering in the heavens. It becomes pretty well exact, coinciding with the December the 8th full moon. But because Pluto is at the start of Vedic Capricorn, where Pluto has been for all this year, it's so important to note that this energy actually has very long-term roots. And this energy has been growing in our emotions and in our consciousness for much longer than the very recent icing on the cake, which is that Lilith is now opposition Pluto. Lilith is intervening. By the way, note that this material is quite long, so the video might run into part 2. And if so, the link for that will be shown below the YouTube display, where you can also see the link to my blog post about this, and also the links for my websites where you can get a personal reading or a relationship reading from me. And my readings always combine both Vedic and also Western psychodynamic astrology, plus informed pointers to healing. So these websites are Star Wheel Astrology and my new website, LoveStarDating. So I'll just tell you before starting on Lilith opposition Pluto energy, that I have actually just launched LoveStarDating now. This is a new worldwide dating site for people on spiritual and healing pathways to find love. This new website is an expression, partly, of the Lilith opposition Pluto energy that I'll be talking about. And in fact, that opposition is actually T-square my sun at the very beginning of Vedic Libra, plus its expression of the current Ketu South Node transiting Vedic Libra, which is massive for its potential for relationships awareness and healing for all of us. So if it's relevant to you, please join in and help us grow this site. It's free to join. Most new dating sites start with many bogus members. We don't want to do this. So please don't be put off by the fact that we have very few members to start with. Register your details now if you feel LoveStarDating could help you. Grow the website so that soon thousands of people following spiritual pathways and seeking love can be found on this site. And I'd like to give special thanks to my wonderful webmaster who has spent so very many hours developing the site. Marcin Rommel at Ballina here in Ireland. And he also, of course, works worldwide. Okay, so this Lilith opposition Pluto energy is centred on Pluto at 2 Capricorn and Lilith soon to be at 2 Vedic Cancer. That's 26 Western Capricorn for Pluto and 26 Western Cancer for Lilith. And this Lilith opposition Pluto affects the degrees and signs in your chart. For example, the square, it's squaring early Vedic Aries, it's squaring early Vedic Libra. And note that the Lilith opposition Pluto transit will certainly still be in force up to February 2023. A Lilith opposition Pluto aspect will have a very powerful effect on the lives and consciousness of many. It can be made to be very positive if it's handled with awareness. But note that it can bring up a lot of traumatic situations from our past. Tears, horror, rage, anger, even brutality, fear, activated great sensitivity. But if we can work our way through these, the promise of possible healing is firmly here. Healing for us, healing for our relationship. And this Lilith opposition Pluto aspect now, as I've said, is all the more powerful because Pluto has been in this area of the heavens ever since January of this year, 2022. It will therefore have been especially affecting you, but especially if you have planets that conjoin those points on the Capricorn Cancer axis or oppose them or have other aspects from those points. I'll be going more into the nitty-gritty of the dates and signs and degrees at the end of the blog, which comes with this video. So what is this energy of Lilith opposition Pluto? Well, basically Pluto is about our power. This includes our denied power. This includes our power that has been stuffed into our shadow. This includes our power that was not allowed to us by our parenting, our religious upbringing, the rules of this society. So Pluto is about power. But Lilith is about shadow, our shadow self, including our denied self, including our denied wild self. These two energies combining now, calling us now, could be even swamping us now. As I said, I'll be going into the full detail of the timing, dates, degrees and signs involved in all this later on in the blog, but not in the video. So have a look below the YouTube video to see the link to the blog. So with this energy running from mid-October, now you are called to stand more properly in your true and destined power. Now you are being called to open up buried shadow power and experiences in your life. Buried shadow power and experiences in your life. Tension will have been growing as this Pluto transit has been running, as this Pluto-Lilith opposition forms. You will most likely be called to feel that there's a special dramatic purpose calling you at this time. What is that special dramatic purpose? You need to identify it deeply. You will likely feel a dramatic, special sense of the importance of this time in your life. You could well encounter past traumas and wounds. Often these traumas and wounds, of course, get stuffed into our unconscious. They're too painful to hold in our consciousness. But even though we claim we don't know they're there, they are driving us and directing us and making us make decisions and present ourselves to the world in a certain way. So I feel it may be helpful if I give you a particular key experience I had at this time, this Pluto Lilith time. It may help, so I'm giving it. By weird coincidence with these planetary energies, my wife and I went on a little holiday in Cornwall in southwest England, and we visited the ultimately dramatic Minack Theatre on the tip of Cornwall at Land's End, built 90 years ago right on the top of a cliff. The Atlantic waves crash at the back of the stage. The architecture is a weird mixture of ancient Greek and Babylonian. Now, we didn't know what play would be on. We just said, let's go to the Minack Theatre. But amazingly, I found myself sitting in a play about the horrific treatment of orphans in England in the late 17th century. The play was called Coram Boy. It's based on the book by Jamila Gavin. And in the play, what happened was that when something terrible was about to be done to an orphan, 5 black angels appeared on the stage in black hoods and black cloaks. They never said a word, but they stood in monumental silence, and then they began to shiver and shake with horror when something terrible was going to happen to an orphan. So I got the book and I read it after I returned home. The effect on me personally of this totally unexpected contact with the play and then the book was actually pretty traumatic, especially as I also had long COVID at the time. Okay, it wasn't coincidence, but the coincidence, you could say, was that I myself was actually put into one of the infamous Bon Secours convent orphanages because my mother wasn't married when I was born. Moreover, I experienced that Coram Boy is set partly in an English stately home. From this stately home in the play, an illegitimate child was smuggled out into an orphanage to preserve the good name of the pregnant young noblewoman in the stately home. The birth was hidden. And this stately home theme of the unexpected play too raised wounds and traumas in me. This was because I was forced to serve as an altar boy in a stately home when I was little, and because I had a tough time at Oxford, where all the other young men in my tutor group were from noble class families, with their fathers holding jobs like British ambassador to Russia or Anglican bishop and so forth. So as a scholarship entrant from a state school, I was ridiculed and dismissed as a scribbler. And I had to work full time to support myself as the others all went off to their banquets and japes at the stately homes every weekend. Indeed, part of the coincidence that came into my life during our trip to Cornwall, also was that we were staying in a 200-year-old little building that went under the name of the Piggery. We found out that the Piggery where we were staying was in the grounds of a huge stately home called Lanhydrock House, so similar to Broughton Hall, the stately home where I was forced to serve Mass as a little boy. I felt unsure about whether to tour the home, in the stately home, but I did. And it was a bit chilling. The first thing I saw when we walked in was rules for servants. Now I'm telling you this to demonstrate how things can come your way in a fated manner, in an unexpected manner, but almost with a divine purpose. The divine purpose being that we have to face our wounds and we have to come into higher awareness and come more into our valid and destined sense of power. That's what this Pluto transit and this Lilith opposition Pluto transit brings. Events like this may happen to you. So the divine purpose is to heal ourselves. In the case of this particular transit, the divine purpose is for each of us to grow into our proper power, our rightful power, and heal wounds negatively stuffed down into our unconscious and stuffed down into our shadow. So if you have planets that are activated by an aspect from this Lilith opposition Pluto, and so of course they'll also have been activated by the Pluto transit in early Vedic Capricorn all this year, you too may well have been having these sorts of encounters and synchronicities and calls to increase your rightful power, all of them with the destined purpose of healing you. What these experiences and feelings at this time can bring actually is our realization that we have power. And hopefully they can bring us development of awareness as to how to lovingly assert our true power. This energy will bring us a dramatic sense of the importance of this time. Hopefully it will also bring us a growth in our sense of power. But note that at times this energy may very well involve us feeling oversensitive and powerless, even very oversensitive and very powerless. So Lilith reveals to us, if we are open to it, that which has been suppressed. The suppression often being predictable. If you look at our chart, especially the Vedic birth chart, which is very destiny focused, but also of course the Western psychodynamic chart. And it's not just our power that can be suppressed, it's our wild side that our parents, our society, our religion forbade. If we look at our birth chart, it's just amazing what Lilith analysis can bring out on this theme, but also of course Pluto analysis and other features of the chart. So the call is to come at last into your power. It has to be contacted during this transit. It has to come out. But this growth has to be managed with great awareness and care and with the help of healing work. My wife, Maggie Pashley, has been developing worldwide online healing modalities relevant to this and other health issues for over 25 years. And her website is www.maggiepashley.com. Just as a little caution, do note, please, by the way, that Lilith can be used as a sort of badge worn by people with a sense of their suppressed wild side. but they can wear it as a badge on their chest to justify not very nice treatment of other people. There can even be unhelpful gender warfares. Lilith's highest purpose is not that. What Lilith is our suppressed sense of our personal power, with all the wounds and the power stuffed down into our shadow, into our unconscious. Lilith is our suppressed power and our suppressed wild side in this life. Until our personal Lilith destiny is identified, until it's exposed to us and lovingly worked with and expressed by us, we cannot be the full us, the full me. Until we make that growth when the time comes at last, we cannot stand in our needed rightful power and expression. We cannot really know who we are in this life. Definitely this Pluto transit that's been going on all 2022, and now this Lilith opposition Pluto transit, both call to each of us for a new start. You will probably need to let go of parts of your identity at this time that you have taken on. Let go of parts of your identity that you have taken on. At this time, you will need to bring in more authentic ways of understanding yourself and expressing yourself. You might probably need to end some previous way of working, your job, for example. You will probably need to bring in a new way of working, even a new job.